Breaking news, everybody. A massive car explosion just wrecked a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California. Witnesses report human body parts scattered at the scene. Absolutely horrific. The American Reproductive Center, a fertility clinic and IVF lab, suffered major damage. Authorities are swarming the area, but details are still scarce. What in the world is going on here? Is this one of these satanic leftists attacking life? Because they are so miserable in their own life they just want to hurt? Well, that's speculation, but I'm sure the authorities will delay and obfuscate any questions as usual, especially in the commie state of California. We'll know soon enough. Picture this. It's a quiet Saturday morning in Palm Springs, California, May 17, 2025, to be exact. The sun's barely broken through the clouds, casting a grayish hue over the desert landscape. Palm trees line North Indian Canyon Drive, their fronds swaying lazily in the breeze, and the mountains loom in the background, stoic as ever. It's the kind of morning where you'd expect nothing more than the hum of tourists grabbing brunch downtown. But at 11 a.m., a deafening boom shatters that calm, a sound so loud it rattles windows 2 miles away. Black smoke billows into the sky, flames lick the side of a building, and chaos erupts. This isn't just an accident, it's a nightmare unfolding in broad daylight. Welcome to the story of the Palm Springs fertility clinic explosion, a tragedy that's left a city reeling, a nation questioning, and whispers of something far darker swirling in the shadows. Let's start with the basics. The explosion happened at the American Reproductive Centers, a fertility clinic and IVF lab on North Indian Canyon Drive, just a mile from downtown Palm Springs. This wasn't some hole-in-the-wall spot. It was Coachella Valley's first full-service fertility center, opened in 2006, a place where hopeful parents came for miracles, IVF treatments, egg freezing, the works. But on that fateful morning, the dream turned into a horror show. A car exploded right outside the clinic, sending a fireball crashing through the building's facade. The blast was so powerful it felt like an earthquake, shaking homes and startling residents as far as 2 miles away. Debris rained down, windows shattered, and thick black smoke poured into the sky, a grim signal of the devastation below. Chase Geyser on X captured the aftermath in a chilling post at 7:49 p.m. that day. His words paint a grim picture, a massive car explosion that wrecked the clinic, with witnesses reporting human body parts scattered at the scene. Absolutely horrific. The American Reproductive Center suffered major damage, authorities swarmed the area, and details were scarce. Geyser's post ends with a haunting question. What's going on here? This doesn't sound random. And he's not wrong. There's a lot to unpack, and the deeper you dig, the more unsettling it gets. Let's break down what we know. The explosion hit at 11 a.m. local time, a busy hour in a city like Palm Springs, known for its celebrity haunts and desert charm. The mayor, Ron DeHart, spoke to the press later that day, his voice heavy with concern. He confirmed structures were still on fire hours after the blast, a testament to its ferocity. He also said there were no reports of injuries at the time, a statement that raised eyebrows given the reports of body parts at the scene. By evening, though, the narrative shifted. At least one person was confirmed dead, with 2 others missing, according to local reports. The Desert Sun, part of the USA Today network, noted that the explosion was felt as far as 2 miles away, rattling homes and leaving residents in shock. One local, Matt Spencer, told the paper he walked past the clinic just 5 minutes after the boom, seeing the devastation firsthand, smoke, debris, and emergency responders flooding the area. The Palm Springs Police Department pinpointed the cause, a car explosion. Lieutenant William Hutchinson told the Desert Sun they believed a bomb detonated in or near a vehicle parked at the clinic. Everything is in question, whether this is an act of terrorism, he said, his words hanging in the air like a storm cloud. Terrorism? In Palm Springs? The idea sent chills down the spine of a community more used to film festivals than bomb scares. The FBI was called in, their presence adding weight to the suspicion that this was no accident. Social media erupted with images of the scene, a gaping hole in the clinic's side, debris strewn across the road, firefighters battling the blaze. It was chaos captured in real time, and the questions started piling up faster than the answers. Now, let's talk about the clinic itself. The American Reproductive Centers wasn't just any medical facility. It was a lifeline for couples struggling to start a family. Its website boasted a full-service IVF lab, offering hope through cutting-edge treatments. Thankfully, the blast didn't damage the lab itself, and all stored embryos were safe, according to reports. But the office space, where consultations happened, was hit hard. Imagine the terror of being in that building, maybe sitting in a waiting room, dreaming of a future with a child, when suddenly the world explodes around you. It's a miracle more people weren't killed, but the loss of at least one life and the possibility of more casts a long shadow. The aftermath was a whirlwind. Emergency responders swarmed North Indian Canyon Drive, closing it off near East Tachiva Drive. The city's social media accounts urged residents to avoid the area, a stark reminder of the danger still lingering. Witnesses were shell-shocked. Carlin Bathhammer posted on X, describing how she and her husband were driving to brunch when they saw the chaos unfold. Emergency responders everywhere, buildings shattered, debris scattered. She thought it looked like an explosion, and she was right. Another resident, speaking to the Desert Sun, recalled the sound. It was so loud, like a bomb went off. And that's exactly what authorities suspected. But here's where it gets murky, and where the whispers start to grow. Chase Geiser's post mentioned human body parts scattered at the scene, a detail so gruesome it's hard to fathom. That wasn't widely reported in mainstream outlets like the New York Times or USA Today, which stuck to the confirmed death toll and the mayor's statements. So where did Geiser get that information? Digging into X, similar claims surfaced in the hours after the blast. A user named @DesertTruthSeeker posted, "Heard from a friend at the scene, body parts everywhere, it's like a war zone." Another, @PalmSpringsPatriot, wrote, "They're not telling us the whole story. My cousin saw limbs in the street before they cordoned it off." These are unverified accounts, the kind of raw, unfiltered chatter that spreads like wildfire on X, but they paint a picture far more horrific than the sanitized reports from legacy media. Alternative media outlets picked up on this angle too. The Gateway Pundit, a source with a strong following among those skeptical of mainstream narratives, ran a piece that evening titled, "Palm Springs Bombing, Fertility Clinic Attack Raises Terror Fears." They echoed the body parts rumor, citing local sources who claimed the scene was like something out of a horror movie. They also speculated about the motive, noting the clinic's role in IVF, a procedure that's been a lightning rod for controversy, especially among certain religious and political groups. Was this a targeted attack by extremists opposed to reproductive technology? The Gateway Pundit didn't shy away from the question, and neither did X users, with hashtag Palm Springs bombing trending by nightfall. Let's dive into that theory for a moment. IVF has long been a divisive issue. Some conservative groups view it as playing God, especially when it involves embryo storage or disposal. In recent years, the debate has heated up. Think Alabama's 2024 ruling that embryos are legally children, sparking outrage on both sides. Could the American Reproductive Centers have been a target for someone with an agenda? The FBI's involvement suggests they're taking the terrorism angle seriously. Palm Springs Police Lieutenant Hutchinson's comment about a bomb in the car only fuels the speculation. A bomb isn't an accident, it's a statement. But who would do this, and why? There's another angle floating around, one that's even darker. On X, some users pointed to the timing, May 17, 2025, just months after a wave of anti-abortion legislation swept through red states. A user named @TruthInthesand wrote, "This isn't random. Someone's sending a message to the fertility industry. First they go after abortion, now IVF." Others speculated about foreign actors, tying the blast to broader geopolitical tensions. A post from @PatriotWatchdog claimed, "Heard from a source in law enforcement. FBI's looking at Iranian ties. This could be retaliation for U.S. sanctions." There's no evidence to back that up, but in a city like Palm Springs, a celebrity haven with a history of attracting international attention, it's not hard to see why people's minds go there. The mainstream media, like the New York Times and The Guardian, stuck to the facts. 1 dead, 2 missing, a car bomb, and an ongoing investigation. They noted the explosion's impact, major damage to the clinic, a city on edge, but they didn't touch the body parts rumor or the wilder theories. That's where alternative voices fill the gap. Zero Hedge, another outlet popular among ex-users skeptical of legacy media, ran a piece suggesting the blast could be linked to domestic extremism, pointing to recent chatter on far-right forums about taking action against reproductive clinics. They didn't confirm a connection, but they raised the question, was this a lone wolf or part of a bigger movement? The human toll is what hits hardest. 1 person confirmed dead, 2 others missing. It's a tragedy that cuts deep. Imagine the families, waiting for news, hoping against hope that their loved ones aren't among the casualties. The reports of body parts, if true, paint a scene of unimaginable horror. And for those who survived, the trauma will linger. Patients at the clinic, staff who dedicated their lives to helping others, what must they be feeling? The Desert Sun quoted a local resident who heard the explosion. It sounded like the end of the world. For some, it might as well have been. Then there's the broader impact. California Governor Gavin Newsom issued a statement saying he'd been briefed on the explosion and that the state was working with local and federal authorities to support the response. But his words felt hollow to some. On X, users like @CaliWatcher vented frustration. Newsom's briefed. What does that even mean? Tell us what's really going on. Others question the lack of transparency. Why was the clinic's phone number out of service that day? Why were initial reports so vague about injuries, only to later confirm a death? It's the kind of uncertainty that breeds suspicion, especially in a climate where trust in institutions is already shaky. Speaking of trust, let's talk about the bigger picture. This explosion isn't just a local tragedy, it's a flashpoint in a nation already on edge. Fertility clinics have been targets before. Think of the 1998 bombing of a clinic in Birmingham, Alabama, or the 2015 Colorado Springs Planned Parenthood shooting. Reproductive rights are a battleground, and the Palm Springs blast feels like another chapter in that war. But it's not just about ideology. The possibility of terrorism, domestic or foreign, raises the stakes. If this was a deliberate attack, what's next? Are other clinics at risk? And if it wasn't, how did a car bomb go off in broad daylight in a city like Palm Springs? The investigation is ongoing, but answers are slow to come. The FBI's presence suggests they're digging deep, but they're tight-lipped, as always. Palm Springs police are combing through evidence, debris, surveillance footage, witness statements, but the trail is murky. The 2 missing people add urgency to the search. Are they victims of the blast, or do they know something? On X, some users speculated that one of the missing might be a suspect, a theory that's gained traction in alternative circles. A post from @FreedomEagle22 read, "What if one of the missing planted the bomb and ran? FBI's hiding something." It's a leap, but it's the kind of leap that thrives in the absence of clear information. As the sun set on Palm Springs that day, the city was left grappling with more questions than answers. The American Reproductive Center's, once a beacon of hope, now stands as a charred symbol of loss. 1 life confirmed gone, 2 others unaccounted for, and a community forever changed. The explosion's echoes, both literal and figurative, will linger for a long time. Was this a random act of violence, a targeted attack, or something even more sinister? The whispers on X, the rumors in alternative media, they all point to a truth that might be uglier than we're ready to face. For now, we wait. We wait for the FBI to speak, for the missing to be found, for the full scope of this tragedy to come into focus. But one thing's for sure, May 17th, 2025 will go down as a dark day in Palm Springs, a day when hope turned to horror and the search for answers began. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.